Good morning, students. I am Nivedita Singh of Marwadi College English Department. Today I am going to take your online classes for elective English. Elective English that is of 100 marks. We have started the novel in our previous videos and today we will continue novel The Financial Expert by R.K. Narayanan. Elective English fiction novel The Financial Expert by R.K. Narayanan. Main characters are Megha, Dr. Paul, Mr. Madan Lal, and Balu. Mrigia bundled up his belongings and started homeward. He is troubled at heart. He felt that people were laughing at him for wearing white rimmed spectacles. So he put his spectacles in his pocket. He began to think in the way that this with his box under his arm he looked like a barber. He looked like the secretary. He would not have dared to snatch the papers from his box. He was fit only to look like a wayside barber and was fit for the company of those rustic wrapped in blankets. He was thoroughly vexed with himself and his lost. His mind was occupied with his miserableness. He felt ashamed of his box and wanted to fling it away. But his sense of possession would not let him. At the western end of Market Road, he saw the VN stores, but he thought that the owner standing at the door might put hand into Mriga's pocket and snatch the glasses or compel him to give him a shave. He sidestepped into Kabir Lane. He hurried off and threw the box on the bench in his home. His wife was washing the child in the near veranda. As the sound of his arrival, the little fellow let out a yell of joy. His wife asked him what had made him to come back so early. He thought that his wife was indifferent and his son untidy. In resentment, he replied that he was the owner of his sweet will and he would return whenever he liked. His son knew him and he felt he wore dirty shirt. He asked his wife to put his son into a cleaner shirt, but she showed her inability to do so because the child had only 4 shirts and 3 of them had been spoilt by him that day. At night, more shirts for his son. Mrigya told his wife about his rude behavior. He decided to purchase shirt. He told her that money was everything in the world. A person who had money could do all. His wife told him that he should have exercised greater case for Arul Das as well as the secretary since he was a wealthy person. In the presence of his wife, he felt that he too could earn as much as he liked. All the despair and inferiority that he had been feeling was gradually leaving him. A person who has no money is spurned even by his wife, and she would talk differently. So he decided to say goodbye to his box and torn dhoti. He would become so rich that even the secretary would have to call him master. His wife would have no more torn mats and dirty, greasy saris. His son would have a cycle. He would have a suit and go to a convent school in a car. His neighbors would have to wonder and burst their hearts with heavy. He would have to finish with those villagers. Next morning he became like one possessed. He was agitated as if the had made a startling discovery. He could not yet afford to keep away from the place he where he worked. He went there as usual, but he had taken care to tidy himself up much as possible. He wore a laced edged dhoti which he normally kept folded in his box. It was of fine texture but much yellowed because it was the one he had received in a gift at the time of his wedding. He also put on a new shirt which he had got stitched 2 years ago, but he had not had the heart to wear always, reserving it for some future occasion. His wife was somewhat taken aback at the change in his style and behavior. She treated him with the utmost consideration when she served him his frugal meal. Instead of taking the box he now carried only a few papers in his hand. He thought it looked better. He walked with the feeling that new existence was opening before him. He asked his wife to preserve the dirty dhoti for Aruldas as he could come to receive it. His clients were somewhat surprised to see him in his new dress. He did not sit under the tree, remained standing. Sit under the tree, remained standing. It was only in the standing pose that he carried on his business. His clients remarked humorously that he was dressed in the manner of a bridegroom. Aruldas came there spying but was snubbed by Mrigya, who told him to take a dhoti and shirt from his house in the evening if he needed them. Das told him that he had come to see the car of the secretary. Hearing Mrigya, Aruldas was overjoyed and told him to run his business happily. The wicked blackguard would do him no harm. This is the up to this today. We will continue it in the next class, next video.